All right, let's get into this. First off, this oil rig belongs to BP, which is Dutch Royal Shell Queen Beatrix. What we have here now is actually this is a very interesting scenario. It just so happens that the timing is coming right around NLE. But what we see here, this was a major power play gone wrong. Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands owns BP. BP is Dutch Royal Shell. Okay? The point being that they were doing extreme subterranean digging here. Geologists had figured with data that they had gained from actually Caesar and Skynet, which, oddly enough, get into the whole point that Skynet was originally created for was actually oil, surveying before they realized that it could be a command control hub for everything else. But back in '69, it was simply that. It was a system to do surveil of oil. This vein is a connecting vein. It is a very deep subterranean vein that links the oil pool strategic reserve in the Black Hills to the oil pool reserve in Venezuela. Now, yeah, that's how big this thing is. The point is that by tapping there, if you understand about drilling rights and things like that, whoever was to tap this particular vein first, which is the most high-pressure vein in the world right now that we know of, then they would be able to lay claim to it. So it was a power play between Queen Beatrix and Dick Cheney. Basically, two factions of the Bilderberg are at war here over this natural resource. Initially, what happened was, and this is from very reliable sources, one of them was actually on site working with the military to actually contain certain things. Can't get into names. Being that wishes to remain confidential. Anyway, point being, timeline of events here, they got to the point where they were almost tapped to the vein. They put down the hydraulic cement. Now, typically you are supposed to wait 72 hours mandatory before you start drilling through that cement. Because they knew Haliburton was on their back and was going to be coming out soon and probably trying to sink a rig very close, they tapped it after 5 hours.
You've got to be kidding me.
Went ballistic. Okay? The pressure on the vein was high enough that it actually did lift the rig off the ocean surface. That's true. But it did not break the drill point. The drill point went back down and started drilling. They started pumping. They didn't even have to pump. It was so high pressure that all they did was open the fucking, excuse my language, open the barrels, and it started pouring in. Haliburton, literally, while it was a Haliburton quote-unquote team, the people sent out, they were there for 20 minutes. Now, I've talked to two internal sources who are like, yeah, that's exactly along the lines of what most likely happened. Haliburton was on the platform for no more than 20 minutes. Essentially, what was on the platform was 10 men from Blackwater. They rigged the entire platform and blew it. The reason being is the only way to prevent Dutch Royal Shell from having the rights on that vein was to eliminate the platform and create a catastrophe that would negate their drilling rights. So they literally, Haliburton literally, intentionally demolitioned the platform.
That's what I thought happened the entire time, and all of my family and friends were arguing with me on Facebook about it, saying, "Oh, well, you're just crazy. That if something happened with Haliburton, they'll catch them. Don't worry about it." No,
they won't. The reason they won't, and you're completely right. You're completely right that Haliburton did this, and I have very internal sources that have all backed this up. The reason they won't catch them is because in order to go after, the only people who would be able to lay a claim against Haliburton would be BP. And if BP was to do that, people would discover the fact that, well, they already have, the fact that the amount of oil that's leaking out of there causing tectonic plate shifts.